Big thanks to Buycycle for supporting today's video. So I found a Van Rysel stand and they have the brand new aero bike, the RCR-F, on display. Let's have a closer look. Definitely looks more aero than a regular RCR and looks way better in the flesh than the photo. You can see how deep that head tube is there. Much deeper than a regular bike, and that sort of flared out crown around the fork there to smooth air around that section. Much deeper fork blades as well. Clearly a very deep down tube with that sort of flat back profile, and it continues really deep seat tube hugging the rear wheel. Aero seat post as well, and the clamp, I guess, underneath there. Nice oversized 5mm bolt. Yeah, looks purposeful. This is the race Ultegra model, $8,000 with Ultegra Di2 and their own power meter. I haven't seen that before. So that is the Van Rysel RCR-F, and that's the regular RCR Pro for comparison. You can see the difference. It looks much slimmer in all the key areas. I do think the regular RCR looks prettier than the aero bike. And here is the Team Edition bike. So Team Edition bike is $12,000 of your dollars with Dura-Ace Di2, Swiss side wheels, Conti Grand Prix 5000 S tyres, and a Fizik saddle and their own handlebar. So a lot deeper in the tops. Flare drops as well, and behind it you can see the regular RCR, so you can see the differences very clearly. All about managing airflow, isn't it? Reducing drag. So Fizik, known for shoes and saddles, have launched a range of helmets. Let's go and have a closer look. Can you explain the reasoning behind Fizik doing a helmet and why somebody might choose a Fizik over all the other helmets on the market? And there is a lot of choice these days. How the helmet stands out?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Fizik, we are a saddle brand. We're also a saddle manufacturer. This is our main product category for sure. Our second category was, of course, shoes. So the natural next step for us, going to another touch point, if you will, was the helmet. So for the Fizik loyal customer, this is natural. Having a shoe and helmet that matches is a huge, I think, style and trend, and not a fad. I think this is something that people are interested in. It creates brand loyalty. Right here we have the Kudo and the Kudo Aero. So we have our ventilated road helmet here and our full aero version in the Kudo Aero. We also have a mountain bike specific helmet and a TT Tri helmet. Across these two and the mountain bike, you have three major USPs that are shared across all three of those. That's going to be the integrated reflector, which can also change for a light, as you see here. And then there is a small plug that can go in, a third piece. These three helmets also have MIPS air node and a custom crown adjustment. The custom crown adjustment is probably going to be the most unique selling point of all the USPs. It is an adjustable internal structure. Super easy. You pull the MIPS air node liner back, and you can adjust these points to three different positions, essentially allowing the internal shape to go from a more cylindrical shape, as you see it in this setting, or a more round shape. So with some folks, they have a more narrow helmet or a more narrow head, so a narrow helmet fits better, right? For example, I'm one of those. So aerodynamic helmets actually fit me really well because the internal structure is a reflection of the external structure. But if I want to, ride baggies on my downcountry bike, the aero helmet's a bit aggressive. It doesn't really suit the style. And of course, being that, a cyclist, we are definitely interested in gear and a style with it. We wanted to make something that could work for all purposes, if you will, but allow the internal structure to change. So for me, I run it in this setting because I have a narrow shape, but I get a regular helmet on the outside instead of a full, super long aero helmet. Whereas someone who might have a more round head, they can move the pins back to one of the other two positions, allowing that structure to be more round which would be a reflection of the external shape on this one.
That's really neat. They can customize the shape
Yeah.
as well as the fit of the helmet. I've not seen that before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do also have the standard internal shapes. Of course, the ladder system is a very common one. We have a plug, a set it and forget it system, and then of course the dial in the back. Yeah, those are that is definitely the most unique point, differentiating from other helmets in the market.
Hey, I'm Alex Legum. I'm the brand manager for Norco USA.
And we have a brand new bike here. What's the main story behind the update to Search?
For sure. So Search Carbon, we've been making gravel bikes since about 2015. Before that, we've been making cyclocross bikes for a really long time. So gravel, very near and dear to our hearts. We have some incredible gravel in Vancouver, BC, where we live. We design our bikes there, get to test them in the best kind of conditions. So you'll be able to use this bike for all of your gravel riding needs, truly a gravel geo, not just adapted road geo. So we've got a suspension corrected fork, clearance for 50 mil tires, comes spec with 45, so you're not gonna have to immediately just swap out your rubber as soon as you get the bike. We've got a little custom fender that we did here. Super clean integration. On the carbon bikes, you will have full fender compatibility, so we've got mounts, braze-ons, spots for all of that. This is removable if you don't want to run it all the time, but nice and clean. And then we also, this will be our first bike with frame storage. If you get it real close, you might hear a very satisfying click. It's just very nice. So super easy, comes with bags, just enough room to be able to keep another layer, some tools, all the stuff you might need. Good weather sealing. So nice and sturdy, it's not going to rattle around on you while you ride. We'll have multiple carbon specs. We'll also be making this bike in an aluminum build. We know that lots of people use their carbon, their Search bikes, their gravel bikes for commuting, for gravel riding, all purpose. Maybe it's your off-season training bike. So we're going to have an option for you. If you're using an aluminum option, you might want to be able to run racks and panniers. We'll have that option for you. So you'll have all of those builds. You'll also get a little bit more on braze-ons. You'll be able to use bags on the carbon builds, but on the aluminum builds, you'll have an additional mount here for a bag. You'll also have 3-pack mounts on the fork, as well as rack mounts on the rear of the bike. We use really short stems here, 70 mil stems on all builds, to bring the handling in and make it a little bit snappier and keep that controlled. And then we bring your stack up a bit, so that way you have a little bit more of an upright ride. So that way when you're a taller person, I don't have this problem, but when you're a taller person, you don't end up dumping all your weight into your handlebars and your front wheels. So you've got really great control, and you can adjust the fit, make it racier if you want to, slam your stem, great. But for somebody who wants that a little bit more control, because you're riding a lot of like loose stuff, rutted out roads, you want to take it on single track, you've still got that option.
Can you tell me who you are and what you do, please?
My name is Rysel Bahati. I am a Giant and Cadex ambassador living in Southern California.
And this is your bike, which is very, very special. What's the story behind it?
Yeah, so this is a Giant Propel decked out in Cadex product with the wheels, saddle, one-piece bar, and the inspiration behind the color is just, I know a painter named Mike Hurley, and he's done 2 of my other bikes. And I told him I wanted to do some kind of just like outside of the box. And I didn't really give him any direction. I just told him the colors that I like. And he always wanted to try this style of paint called crackling. And he showed me a sample. I was blown away by it. And yeah, a few weeks later, this was the finishing product. And it's actually amazing how it happens. It's basically a chemical reaction. So it's a lot of clear coat on here. And once you spread with the colors, once they touch each other, they create this reaction, and this is how you get the crackle.
And do you ride it? Was it too nice to ride?
No, I definitely ride it. It's been ridden probably at least 2,000 miles. I haven't raced on it. Okay. I don't know if I will race on it. The one thing with this bike, you know, carbon can be repaired, paint can be, you know, repaired, but this is so unique, it'll be hard to just fix one certain spot. So I'll try to preserve it as long as possible. Definitely ride it because, you know, I live in LA and just regular civilians in cars are giving you thumbs up, and, you know, guys on Harleys are like blown away by it. So it's definitely an eye catcher. And yeah, it's great for the brand too. It's just, you know, really bringing a lot of attention to a beautiful bike and beautiful paint job.
Those are some pretty stunning bikes, aren't they? And if you want to sell your current bike, like my old CAD 12 here, to fund a new bike, then today's sponsor, Buycycle, is a place to do it. I know firsthand how frustrating selling and buying bikes can be, but Buycycle is the marketplace for pre-owned bikes, built by cyclists for cyclists. It makes selling and buying bikes safe and quick, as it should be. So if you want to upgrade to a newer road bike like this, you can sell your old bike and free up some cash. And listing a bike takes less than 3 minutes. It really is very easy. All you have to do is clean your bike, photograph it on a nice neutral background, and you're good to go. And once you've sold your bike, Buycycle does all the hard work, supplying packaging material if needed, prepaid shipping labels, and they can even pick the bike up for you. Peace of mind, piece of cake, no time wasters or tire kickers at all. So sell your old bike right now to a worldwide audience and get 30% off seller protection on buycycle.com/justride, linked down below. Right, back to Sea Otter and some shiny new bikes.
All right.
So 3D saddles are really popular and there's now a new one to add to your shortlist. What's the story behind it and how long did it take to develop this saddle?
So the AMP 3D has been in development for about, let's say about 3 years, maybe even a little bit more than that. When we first came out with the AMP saddle, the next question really was, well, can we do a 3D printed version, which will increase support through this zone here without adding weight. So what we've done is we've used, different from other brands, we've used what we call, or what is called, a gyroid structure. And a gyroid structure is an intersecting wavy line, different from the honeycomb structure, the hexagonal structure that you'll see in other brands. And the advantage of a gyroid structure is that it will give you more uniform support across a wider surface area. So really, if you want to think about your strength to weight ratio is really good with a saddle like this. It's very lightweight, it's lighter weight than a honeycomb structure. And it also allows us to tune, if you will, the firmness of the saddle. So you go from very firm here, through here in the kind of the power zone, the pedaling zone, and then you start to get a little bit softer as the rider scoots back and gets into a more kind of long ride position. You'll also notice that here we do actually still use a honeycomb structure around the edge, because the gyroid structure is a little bit more fragile than a honeycomb. So for added durability, we do add it around the edge here. And in the front, we have a lattice shape here of kind of almost look like randomly generated shapes. They're not. They come from a database. We asked the database, hey, what's the best way to add a little bit more padding here without using a honeycomb structure, which is heavy, to save weight? And these are the shapes that we got back for the nose area. Obviously an area you don't spend a lot of time on, but when you do, you want a little bit of comfort there. On the other side, this is the same base that we've used with our traditionally padded AMP saddle over here, with the integrated rail design, which gives you plenty of compliance, and the same lightweight carbon composite, what we call advanced forged composite technology base, meaning it's cold forged and allows us to create these kind of very interesting, unique shapes here. Super lightweight at 147 grams, and yeah, definitely one to have on your short list.
So this is very different to the other saddles on the market then?
Yes.
It's your own technology,
It's our own technology. We don't have a patent on using gyro. Gyroid's a naturally occurring shape, discovered in the 1970s, I guess. Okay. Do some research on that. Yeah, really the advantage though is that strength to weight ratio. You'll also notice, it's a little bit hard to see on film, but you'll notice that it takes more pressure, if you will, for the shape to deform than the honeycomb shape does.
Yeah, that's a lot squiddier, isn't it?
Yeah, so you really notice that there, and that will give you the support. So obviously comfort is important, but really, especially in this zone right here where you're really putting the pedal down, it's the support that you're looking for. I've been riding the standard AMP for for a number of years now, and I switched over to the AMP 3D, and really it's the difference really between a traditionally padded saddle, still a great saddle, but the 3D printed gyroid structure here is really pretty remarkable.
And we have two very nice looking bikes here. What are they and who are they for, I guess?
It's funny, I was just talking to someone about this. We make titanium and aluminum bikes, which typically are seen as niche products, but the bikes are actually for about 90% of the cycling community. We have the gravel aluminum and the gravel titanium. They're both the exact same design, modern geometry, 47 mil tire clearance, and fully aero integrated. So they're a performance gravel bike, And I think they're built better for the average cyclist. They're more durable, they're recyclable, and they're simple. SRAM UDH and an FSA headset, so everything is really easy to find if you ever need a part with universal standards. But the main selling point for these ones are just the beauty and the aesthetic that people are really attracted to.
So carbon fiber is frame material, that's not on your plan.
No, I think carbon fiber is a great material. Obviously, we use it for the fork and the handlebar and the C-post. I think you can make a great bike out of any material and a terrible bike out of any material. What I try and focus on is bikes that work better for the average cyclist. So with aluminum, with titanium, we can make a quality bike that is more consistent. So we have barely any warranty claims. Like I said, it's durable in the event of a crash, especially it's going to happen when you're off-road. And I just love the materials, so no shade against carbon fiber, but I prefer these two.
Okay. This bike is cool. What's it all about?
Thanks, David. This is our Surveyor all-road bike, so race geometry with 40 millimeter tire clearance. We hand build these entirely in Toronto, frame, fork, everything in-house. We cut our own tooling. We do all the paint and finish work. So this is actually an example of what we call our color span custom program. So for a slight upcharge, we can do pretty much any color combination the customer can think of. And then we're also launching a new custom carbon color, so what we call raw carbon. So I've got a small example of it here. That's a seat cluster. But basically, that's a paint choice now, so you can get raw carbon with any logo colors on top.
And that's straight out of the mold?
This is out of the mold, finished, and then clear coated. But essentially no aesthetic layering, so you see all the carbon that goes into the bike, mostly unidirectional, a little bit of weave in areas where we drill or finish, because the weave is a bit more durable. But most of our bike is unidirectional. We think that's the best performance carbon material because we can customize our laminate schedule.
Is that driven from demand from customers to have a raw carbon, or is that internal?
Yes, a little bit of both. We wanted to show off what goes on under the paint, which we're super proud of. But yes, we definitely had early customer demand saying, I want to be able to see what's under the paint. And so it's mostly a matter of kind of selecting our best aesthetic parts. So there's a little more work that goes into kind of proper part selection because obviously nothing gets hidden. But we're really excited. It's actually quite a durable finish too because we do a pretty solid clear coat on there. Weight is still quite low. So that's launching now. And we actually also are announcing that we've been sort of scaling up production. We're only about a year and change into production, and we've got 30 consumer build slots that are opening up for summer delivery. So that's where we're at. Really excited to be kind of scaling up our manufacturing. Really think the bike is a fantastic kind of, road race to fast gravel bike. Obviously the trend with huge tires and full-on gravel adventure is happening, but we also think this sort of N+1 killer where you can do road races on it, you can do gravel races. We sponsored a local kid back home in Canada who won Ontario provincial road race and then won a gravel race the next week with a different wheel set on the bike.
Okay, yeah.
So really feel like, it's sort of a high performance bike for, call it built for customers, not for pro racers. So some of the features like our round seat collar, clamp on front derailleur clamp, kind of long-term serviceability of the bike was paramount. T47 bottom bracket, that's a little bit of a feather in our cap. We have the only fully carbon threaded bottom bracket on the market. That's patent pending, but we actually don't bond in an aluminum shell. We thread the T47 directly out of unidirectional carbon, which we're super proud of. It's lighter, perfect alignment. We can actually repair the threads if there are ever any issues. So really trying to kind of push technology forward where it makes sense, but then stick to classic, features where those make sense. But we do think wide tires are awesome, even for road. For fast gravel, you can still run 40s with tread on this thing. This has been raced at Unbound, so we've put it through its paces even in the gravel world. So we think it's a great bike to sort of do like 90% of the riding most of us do on one bike.
Yeah, I'm Preston Hu with Rotor.
And we're here with a very cool looking bike. This is your own build?
My own build, yes.
Let's start with the frame, I guess. You're going for a Scarab?
Yeah, Scarab, a custom frame builder out of Colombia. A good partner of ours, and we're very excited to be showing their bike here and be able to showcase some of our product and how modular it is.
Okay, so it's a mountain bike with suspension fork and a drop handlebar.
Yes.
Very unconventional.
Yeah, it's very unconventional, and it's really cool with our Rotor group set. We're able to use the drop bar with a wide range rear derailleur and have a 1152 12-speed cassette in here.
1152.
Yes.
And on the front, you got a
38.
So good gear range, nice steps between the gears.
Yeah, a really good gear range for a monster gravel bike. You can still get to the trails and kind of hammer the pedals. But when you get to a steep climb, you still have enough gears to get up them.
And the group set is?
This is our
hydraulic
Rotor hydraulic 13-speed group set, but can also be used with 11 or 12-speed cassettes.
Oh, you can choose, can you? Okay.
Yes.
So no wires, no batteries.
No batteries. You bleed it once, and it's good for a couple years.
And your own brakes as well?
So
they're Maguras?
Our partner for brakes is Magura.
Oh, I see, okay.
So yeah.
And the RockShox sit in the front. These wheels look cool. On silver rims, you don't see them very often, do you?
Yeah, we partnered with Astral and White Industries, and they were able to throw together a boost wheel set, full chromed, and a mountain hub.
That's some cool tires. So how's it ride then? Does it ride well?
Phenomenal. First ride was today. We built it up for the show, so we couldn't be riding it too much beforehand. And it was just a blast to ride, find a little bit of dirt to kind of play around in. Yeah, super fun riding bike.
And I should ask about the paint finish. Is this a paint finish you chose? Were you involved in the process?
Yeah, I was involved with the process here.
Really nice.
It's a discussion with their painter, and we talked about finding a Utah-themed color palette.
Okay.
Rotor America is based in Salt Lake, and so we want to pay a little bit of homage to that. Have some nice little Easter eggs on here, some globe mallow and other flowers, desert flowers on here, along with some Colombian flag to show where the frame is from. And
I bet you can't wait to get home and ride it.
Super excited to get it home and ride it. Yeah, been very thankful for our partners on this, and Thompson for helping us out with some of the beautiful polished silver parts here and the stem and seat posts. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Aaron Stinner. I'm with Stinner Frameworks, and we're at Santa Barbara, California.
And we have some interesting new bikes on display. What's the story behind these two bikes beside you?
Yeah, so we have, these are some of our new stock models. This is the Refugio Podium Series. Our Podium Series is our titanium stock offering that we offer for our customers. So they come in a standard size run, standard build kits on them, 700 by 50C tires, relaxed geometry, really meant for gravel racing and riding. So think more aggressive terrain. Also works great as a touring bike or bike packing, depending on what you're looking to do. This is our all-road bike, so more road geometry, 700 by 40C tires, same price point as the other one, so it comes in our 5 sizes. It's $28.95 for the frame set, that's frame and fork, and then build starting at around $6,000. And yeah, so this is a 2x rival setup. Also has a UDH dropout though. If you wanted to run a transmission drivetrain, you could. But this bike's really meant and more geared towards kind of that all-road riding. Comfortable 40C.
What's the most popular kind of model of bike? Is it all road? Is it gravel? What's this?
So we launched the Carrizo as our first stock model, and part of the reason we did that is we were building majorities custom for a lot of our custom clients, and so we felt like there was a really big need in the market for that. I'd say between the Carrizo and Refugio, those are our top selling models.
Okay.
And then we do a road bike. We used to do a lot of those. We do quite a few less now. The tire volume's gotten more prevalent. And then we also do a hardtail as well.
So it's a new bike.
Yeah, and then this is our new tunnel. We just launched this today. 140 millimeters front suspension, kind of a down country style hardtail, 2.5 tires. Frame only starts at 2,600, and then the complete start at around on the Podium series start around 6,500.
And you do tie, you also do steel.
We also do steel, yeah. So same models. So we have a hardtail that we again just launched today. And
so
then
same bike, just different frame
same
material.
bike, just different material. So
Right.
this is our steel material, the gravel bike in steel, and then the all-road as well. On our Refugio and the Carrizo, we use a standard kind of off-the-shelf Columbus Zona tube set. And then our hardtail has like a bit of a more custom blend.
Okay. And what's the ratio of sales to tie steel?
Right now it's about 50-50. The tie ones are a little bit newer though, so I think the tie bikes have been a bit more popular. We're historically kind of like a custom tie brand.
Yeah.
So I think there's just like a lot of demand for a stock offering that's affordable.
Okay. So these are all made in the US, which is
All
very
made in the
important.
US.
So you've been making frame 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
And you gradually just expanded the scale of your operation over the years?
Yeah, so we're doing more contract. We started taking in some contract manufacturing about 2 years ago. We've been growing that side of the business pretty organically. The volume and some of the projects that we do for other clients has enabled us to scale the shop and grow the operation. And that's enabled us to, with anything with scale, as we get more scale, our costs come down. So one of the things we learned when we were doing really boutique, small volume manufacturing is it's really hard to get that labor cost down, and we need the volume in order to kind of drive those prices down. And so with volume and an efficiency, we can move more units through the shop and build out a mini factory in the States. And so it's been fun. We've been growing. Did about 2,000 bikes last year. Hopefully do 3,000 this year. It's been fun.
And what's the goal then? Well, how high are you aiming, I guess, with?
So we're currently looking to take in more contract manufacturing work. We launched that on Monday. The demand has been a lot with current economic situation. So we are looking to hopefully get by next year. I think with our current move plans and the factory we're looking to build, we think we could probably be doing 10,000 bikes by next year. And that factory that we'll build on a 2-shift could have the potential to do about 40,000 bikes a year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm David Godwin. I work at Carbon. I'm the marketing director at Carbon.
So you are the company behind all the Specialized and Fizik 3D printed saddles.
So we make the technology. So we make the printers, we make the materials, and we make the software, some design software.
Okay.
And so we work with a lot of customers like Fizik, Specialized, Celitalia, and they've developed saddles using our technology. And it's quite unique. You can do a number of things, but you'll see here in this saddle here, you can obviously tell that the airflow is there. But what's really unique is you can change the durometer or the stiffness basically of the material just by adjusting the thickness of the struts, which are part of the lattice. And so what that allows you to do is, rather than using like many different types of foam to get different responses, you can just do that all in one part and print that. So Fizik actually is doing at the show, doing a live sort of pressure map reading, and we can take that data from that pressure map reading, which is dynamic, by the way, because you're pedaling and everything, and then that data will automatically tune those struts to hit right where you need that sort of pressure relief and that distribution that's based on your specific anatomy. And then we'll print that in about a 2-week turnaround time.
Okay.
So yeah.
So the technology, you developed it for the saddles, or was it for another product? Like,
It's a general purpose technology.
Okay.
It's really our CEO, Phil DeSimone, he sometimes calls it a digital portal for physical goods.
Okay.
So we have a lot of customers that make footwear. We have some customers in the future, in the next, next couple months, we'll be releasing some really great new footwear. There's been some whole footwear shoes printed with no assembly, so all in one print. But we've, printed for Adidas. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. So Adidas has used our technology since about 2016, and they've printed several, million pairs of these midsoles, and this is about the 4th generation design. And then they have a lot of new cool stuff coming as well. So.
Lots of our products you can see has been applied to technology, been applied to other
so
products.
footwear, helmets, in the NFL, which is the National Football League, they, I think several players in the NFL from teams all over the NFL wear our helmets. So if you watched the Super Bowl last year, both quarterbacks had our helmets on, or Riddell and Vice's helmets with our technology in them for the padding, for the distribution of impact, but also for the airflow, for the customization, and then same in the hockey world. So Ovechkin, just passed Gretzky's goal record, took his helmet off, and there's our lattice in his helmet. So it's really making its way through sports and industry. We also have a really big dental business, but that's a whole, whole different side of the business.
So as a technology partner, you're not an invisible technology partner. You are visible. You're here at the show.
Yeah.
Your brand name drop you. So
right. We've created this mark here is an asterisk, and you can sometimes see this mark next to a brand name like Specialized or Fizik. And that's just to let you know that this is our ingredient brand technology.
Okay.
And you may be around, you might see some other sort of pretenders, but we like to say there's only one contender, and that's, our technology. So
there are Chinese copies
yeah,
on AliExpress.
Yes.
They look like these saddles.
Yes.
They're not made with your technology.
They're not utilizing our technology, but there may be some infringement happening with our IP and whatnot like that. So we're here basically to spread the story about, like, if you want the real deal, it's got to be carbon. So that's why we're here too. So.